I guess, for $100. And that car was then used in an attempted triple homicide, but it seems like the third victim survived. Not really relevant to what we're looking into here, but I mean, 2 weeks before the murder, it's a little sus. Oh no, full screen shiz. I'm so sorry. Share screen. Can I make it full screen? I can. Boom. Okay. This is zoomed in too far. I'm sorry, guys. It's my first day. No one will let me zoom out. No? There we go. Can you guys see that? Is that too small? That might be too small. Dang it. Nope, mine's all the way down the bottom. Okay. Well, this stinks. Okay, as I flip pages, I'm going to have to zoom for you guys. Here we go. Rialto County Sheriff's Department Defense Report Case number 691021, capital murder. The victim in this case is Genevieve Marissa Finn, date of birth October 10th, 1975. The date of occurrence is December 1st, 1996 at 1:30 a.m., meaning she was 9 days shy of her 21st birthday. The defendant description, not really relevant here. The synopsis. And before I go further, I have given the neighbors and the witnesses and the co-workers that gave statements in this case aliases, just so I can read it and you can identify them as being a person instead of me just saying blank. But I'm not using their real names. Please don't think I am. On December 1st, 1996, at approximately 1:30 a.m., defendant Robert Zamora Hernandez Jr. went to the Genevieve Marissa Finn residence in Campwood, Texas, to carry out the planned kidnapping of his wife, Mrs. Hernandez, who was staying at the residence. Robert Hernandez Jr. and Mrs. Hernandez were separated at the time. Robert Hernandez Jr. climbed into the house through an unlocked living room window and was discovered hiding in the kitchen by Genevieve Finn. Genevieve Finn was attacked and stabbed repeatedly by Robert Zamora Hernandez Jr. Mrs. Hernandez was awakened and, hearing the assault, fled the residence and summoned help at the residence of neighbor Bob. Bob went to the Finn residence and observed Robert Hernandez Jr. fleeing out the back, and Robert Hernandez Jr. began chasing Bob back to his residence, where Bob and Robert Hernandez Jr. struggled. Bob struck Robert Hernandez Jr. with a flashlight, and Robert Hernandez Jr. then started walking off. I just need to zip the next page here. Okay. So the responding deputy sheriff was notified of the suspect's location, and the suspect was arrested after a brief chase. Genevieve Finn died as a result of her wounds. Robert Hernandez Jr. submitted a written statement regarding the attempted kidnapping of Mrs. Hernandez and the assault on Genevieve Finn. Robert Hernandez Jr. has been charged with capital murder. It's heavy, guys. It gets worse. I'm not going to read the entire report. It is quite lengthy. As I said, they did a really great job with it. But I will be reading some key things here. This is terrible. So what I've gathered about the victim here, Genevieve, she was a 20-year-old mother of two. Though Tara has asserted they are cousins, that familial relation is not noted at all in this report, nor could it be found on any ancestry family trees or obituaries linked to the victim or the father of her children. I just wanted, not that any familial relation would change anything. This is brutal. Viewer discretion is going to be advised for this part, because it is pretty bad. Pretty vicious murder perpetrated by Mr. Hernandez here. Okay. This is the crime scene evidence. Deputy Schumann photographed the scene and began collecting evidence. Oh, wait, I don't want to be on here. Okay. And began collecting evidence. Deputy Schumann, in checking the dining...
I need the perfect banana. Let's see. There are banana...
When she had gone to bed earlier in the evening before the attack occurred. It is this investigator's opinion that the telephone was purposely disabled by Robert Hernandez during the incident to prevent anyone from calling out. The receiver was tagged as evidence. In the center bedroom, investigators observed a large amount of blood stains and splatters on the floor. The blood stains in the center of the bedroom also had smear marks which appeared to be drag marks leading from the center of the bedroom towards the door leading to the kitchen. Investigators also observed blood splatters on the bed and on the south wall behind the bed. Investigators observed lying on the floor 2 blood-stained knife blades which had been broken off at the handles, and both blades were bent. One of the 2 blades measuring approximately 5 5/8 inches was tagged as evidence. The second blade, measuring approximately 4 5/8 inches, was also tagged as evidence. A third blood-stained knife, which had broken off at the handle and measuring approximately 3 inches of length, was observed lying near the foot of near the end of the bed. This third broken blade was tagged as exhibit whatever. I can't, this is so hard. This is, what an awful, awful way to lose your life in your own home. A fourth blood-stained knife, a dinner knife, was observed lying on the floor of the bedroom near the clothes closet in the northwest corner of the room. The fourth knife was tagged as exhibit E3. Investigators observed a black handle which appeared to have been broken off one of the knives laying near the center of the bedroom on the floor. The black handle was blood-stained. This black handle was also tagged as evidence. A wooden handle was observed lying on the floor in the northwest corner of the bedroom against the south wall of the clothes closet. I'm going to turn the page for you guys. I'm going to get through this. We're all going to get through this together, okay? Appeared to have broken off of exhibit E8. The wooden handle was tagged as exhibit E4. At the head of the bed, on the left side near the bedding, investigators observed a short wooden club. This club was tagged as evidence. Near the foot of the bed, investigators observed a light blue Nerf-style bat. The bat was blood-stained. This bat was also tagged as evidence. On the bed, towards the headboard, investigators observed a blood-stained quilt and a red blanket, which were also tagged as evidence. In the clothes closet on the floor near the dresser, investigators observed the handle from the blue Nerf bat laying on top of the clothes basket. The bat handle was tagged for evidence. In examining the kitchen area, investigators observed bloodstains smeared and splattered on the floor, smeared on the back of the door, splattered on the countertop, and splattered on a plastic bag sitting on the floor near the rear door. The victim, Genevieve Finn, had been found by responding officers and emergency personnel laying on the kitchen floor with her head by the sink and her feet pointing northeast towards the rear door. Investigators also observed a blood-stained spatula on the counter, top left of the sink. The spatula was also tagged as evidence. To the right of the kitchen sink, laying on the countertop, investigators observed a blood-stained can opener. This can opener was also tagged for evidence. In examining the red Ford vehicle parked on the street in front of the residence, investigators observed the right rear tire, which was flat, with a cut to the sidewall of the tire, clearly making it so that if they had gotten out of that house, they wouldn't have been able to escape in the car. Let's keep that in mind. I'd take a break and do a palate cleanser, but I think I just need to power through it. It's like going to the gym. This is terrible. This poor woman. Oh, get out of here, antivirus. Is this the one I'm looking for? Yes. So this is the clothing evidence. The top two sections just explain that they recovered them from him when he was arrested. They seized one pair of camouflage pants with blood evidence, one pair of Reebok rubber sandals with blood evidence, one light brown t-shirt with blood evidence, one camouflage fatigue top, long sleeve shirt with blood evidence, one pair of olive green socks, one watch with blood evidence, and one pair of black and red underwear. The next page goes over the blood they collected from him. Again, this is going to be publicly available in the Discord. If someone wants to drop the link, that would be great. This just explains some of the forensics, which for the time, they did an excellent job. Okay. Trying to get the first sentence there. Okay, on December 1st, 1996, Deputy Schumann was advised by Sergeant Coy Smith that Robert Hernandez Jr. had indicated to investigators that Robert Hernandez Jr. had taken 2 steak knives with him when he entered the Finn residence. Sergeant Coy Smith also advised Deputy Schumann that Robert Hernandez Jr. has stated that he had gone to the Finn residence for the purpose of kidnapping his wife, Mrs. Hernandez. On December 1st, 1996, at approximately 1:26 p.m., Deputy Schumann, in inventorying the contents of Exhibit 1, which is the backpack that he had, recovered the following items. They were tagged as exhibits for evidence: 1 roll of masking tape, 1 handwritten note, 1 6-page handwritten letter, 2 white envelopes, 2 black pens, 1 one-page handwritten note, 2 back braces, 1 black waist support, 1 belt with the name of Mrs. Hernandez on it, 1 roll of elastic bandage, 2 clear plastic bags, and 1 safety pin were recovered from the main pouch of the backpack. Deputy Schumann, in examining these items, removed them from the red backpack, which had been discarded by Robert Hernandez Jr. moments prior to his arrest. They found various items to be consistent with a plan to kidnap a person, and then items that could be used to restrain that person. A 1-page note, Exhibit 29A, reads, "Letters to G, P, and C. Fuck her royally." Turn the page for you guys. I'm sorry. Not very good at this. Restrain her. Plant letters. Stay until Jenny shows up, then leave. No later than 6 o'clock. It is the opinion of investigators that this note was a plan of action which Robert Hernandez had developed in the process of planning the kidnapping and possible murder of Genevieve Finn. A copy of this note has been attached for evidence. It is the opinion of investigators that the roll of masking tape and the other waist support items and restraining belt were to be used to restrain Mrs. Hernandez. The other letters found in the backpack also support the plan which Robert Hernandez outlined, which stated plant letters. And it is these letters that Robert Hernandez Jr. had planned to plant at the scene. 1 note marked for evidence, which was 1 page in length and reads, "Hey friend, well this is pretty hard, but it'll have to do. I still have those feelings for you, but I don't show them. That's the really hard part. Well, I just wanted to say hi," and signed it as Mrs. Hernandez. The 6-page letter, Exhibit 29B, which was found in the backpack, may actually consist of 1 2-page letter and 1 4-page letter. The first page of the 2-page letter section is addressed to Robert and reads as follows. "Robert, let me begin with, I don't know why I just did. I get, as you would say, a hard-on by making people miserable. I love this community. You were right. Everyone is easy to get along with. That's the reason why I lied and pled that you were a bad person. Also, the truth is, I'm not ready to settle down. Paul, well, only because you looked to him and Jenny. I don't want to be a nurse. It was just small talk with those two gullible dumbass. One woman with 2 kids, different fathers, who is way too judgmental. This sucks. Made everything easier for me to make you hurt. Just because you were too gullible, actually the biggest one of them all. I'd tell you more, but ask Ginny, she'll fill you in, ha. I've left and will return when my rent is due to take my stuff. Have fun in jail even though you're actually innocent. Good luck explaining this one. So I'm just going to interject here. I will say that I did find, from May of 1996, an assault and battery with bodily injury charge for Mr. Hernandez. I was unable to pull the documents on that arrest. I feel that is due to the fact that it may have been domestic violence, and they were unable to release it. So that's what the letters he wrote pretending to be her. He was trying to say that she set him up for a charge, and I feel that that assault with bodily injury charge may have been the charge they're speaking of. But I will continue. It is the investigator's opinion that Robert Hernandez Jr. handwritten this letter himself and states that Mrs. Hernandez had written it. His intended purpose was to explain the absence of Mrs. Hernandez, at the same time sway law enforcement to think that the pending charges against Robert were false. A copy of the 2-page section of Exhibit 29B is included, attached for evidence. This is part of the 4-page section. They couldn't see, I don't think they could tell what the name was. It's difficult. Time to be honest, I would have told you today, but it just didn't seem right. This is a chicken shit way to do this, but hey, it works. I have lied to you from day one. Blank never did anything wrong to me, except love me too much. Oh, God, fucking hell. He has been the perfect husband, and I just didn't want to be tied down. You and everyone else made it easy for me to make my exit and end this chapter of my life. I can't believe y'all bought my stories from day one. I was too easy. It blew my mind when you would believe me, an outsider to someone you've known all your life. Too easy. Paul, well, he has nothing I would ever want compared to what I had. Looks, Robert wins. Body, Robert wins. And being trustworthy, Robert wins. Fucking God. I'm so sorry. I can't. It's difficult for me to read this, because what woman would write this about the man that she had pending charges against? I digress. Robert may have been miserable, but he would have never messed around on me. Everybody in this one-horse town made it too easy because y'all are too gullible. The reason I never mentioned Paul was because Robert looked up to him and you too. He wanted to be like you and Paul because he said you had your head on straight. You see, my pleasure is watching somebody be miserable. But when Robert started to become a better aide than me, I hated it, especially when I knew that once we took the med aid class, he would pass and I wouldn't. It's no big thing, but he is smarter than me. This is the part that gets scary in these staged letters while attempting a kidnapping and murder. The other thing is that for about 3 months on my days off when he was working, I slept with anyone, even his family, Jesse. I guess I screwed 9 different people and nobody did it right but Robert. I guess that's all I'm going to miss from this town, but shit happens. I've gone with Josh and he is taking me to Georgia to be with my family until I find another sucker. He's a guy from Uvalde who I've been seeing regularly. I'll be back to get my stuff and make my quitting right, but I've sucked the life from this person, so my deed is done. I would have stayed, but now he's going to jail. It's going to take the fun out of it. Thanks for making it easy. Ha ha. It is unknown to investigators who the intended recipient of this 4-page letter was. It is this investigator's opinion that Robert Hernandez Jr. had drafted this letter and that the intended purpose of this letter was to explain the absence of Mrs. Hernandez and to discredit Mrs. Hernandez's credibility. Another purpose of this letter was to build up Robert Hernandez's image and possibly solicit sympathy for himself. A copy of the letter was included for evidence. Okay. Now, we're going to go through the witness statements. There has been a claim going around that this was some sort of racism. And I will say a lot of the redacted names are Hispanic. A lot of them are neighbors that did not really intimately know the situation and did not know Robert well besides from his association with Mrs. Hernandez. I have assigned them fake names. These are not their real names, which is evident by the first one. On December 1st, 1996, Deputy Danny Irwin and Deputy Schumann interviewed and took a handwritten statement from Mr. Ride-Along. Mr. Ride-Along was a passenger in Deputy Irwin's vehicle when Deputy Irwin first arrived to the call to the Jenny Finn residence in response to a domestic disturbance. Mr. Ride-Along observed the suspect flee from Deputy Irwin and also witnessed Deputy Irwin chasing the suspect. Mr. Ride-Along was also a passenger in the patrol vehicle when Constable Weldon Tucker transported the suspect to the Riel County Sheriff's Office in Leakey, Texas. Mr. Ride-Along submitted a written statement. I'm not going to show the written statements. All these witnesses setting this man up for the brutal murder that he definitely fucking committed. It's crazy. On December 1st, 1996, at approximately 6:40 a.m., Sergeant Coy Smith and Sheriff James E. Bryce interviewed Mrs. Hernandez, the wife of Robert Hernandez Jr., and they were, Mrs. Hernandez and Robert Hernandez were separated at the time of the incident. Michelle Hernandez submitted a written, Mrs. Hernandez submitted a written statement. Copy of her statement is attached. In summary, Mrs. Hernandez was staying at the residence of Genevieve Finn when the murder took place. Mrs. Hernandez stated that she was sleeping on the couch in the living room when she was awakened by Genevieve screaming. And Mrs. Hernandez heard Genevieve screaming Robert's name. Mrs. Hernandez stated that she ran for help at the residence of neighbor Bob. Mrs. Hernandez stated that she saw Robert Hernandez Jr. chasing Bob back from the Finn residence after Bob had gone to the Finn residence to aid Genevieve. Mrs. Hernandez also stated that she saw Robert Hernandez hiding by a vehicle and then run from Deputy Irwin when he first arrived. Multiple witnesses saw him hide behind the truck and run. Bob. Regarding the murder incident, neighbor Bob submitted a written statement, and a copy of that statement is included in this report. In summary, neighbor Bob stated that he had known Mrs. Hernandez and Robert Hernandez were having marriage problems and that he had heard that Robert had hit Mrs. Hernandez before. Neighbor Bob stated that he was asleep when Mrs. Hernandez had awakened him and told him that Robert had broken into Ginny's house. Neighbor Bob stated that he got dressed and ran to Ginny's house to the side of the house. Neighbor Bob stated that he could see Robert running and that he could see Ginny's body laying on the floor in the kitchen. Neighbor Bob stated that he called Robert's name and recognized the person running as Robert, even though the person running was wearing camo and a mask on their face. Neighbor Bob stated that Robert chased him back to his residence, where they struggled and where neighbor Bob hit Robert with a flashlight. Neighbor Bob stated that Robert crawled under his truck but fled when Deputy Irwin arrived. On December 1st, 1996, Sergeant Coy Smith and Riel County Sheriff James E. Bryce interviewed neighbor Lisa. Neighbor Lisa submitted a written statement and was attached as evidence. In summary, neighbor Lisa stated that she heard a girl's voice in the house, and when she went to check, she saw Mrs. Hernandez on her phone with the law. Neighbor Lisa stated that neighbor Bob had told her that Robert was in Ginny's house, and that after neighbor Bob had left to go to the Finn residence, that she saw neighbor Bob running back towards neighbor Bob's residence, and that Robert was chasing neighbor Bob. Lisa stated that when they both got back to the residence, neighbor Bob and Robert started fighting. Lisa stated that neighbor Bob hit Robert with the flashlight and that Robert went and hid by a pickup. Neighbor Lisa stated that Robert ran when Deputy Irwin showed up and that she went back to Ginny's house to try to help Ginny. Oh no. Oh, my PDF is not working. Okay, there's only one more that I'm actually gonna read here, and that is from a coworker of Robert Hernandez. On December 1st, I'll put Skyline Jesus back up because I need strength here. Oh, well, I'll just do this. On December 1st, 1996, Sergeant Coy Smith and Riel County Sheriff James E. Bryce interviewed Jack. Oh, nope, I'm not reading that one. That was just a neighbor that saw him run and throw the backpack and all that. Yeah. Maria submitted a written statement attached as evidence. In summary, Maria stated that she knew Robert and Mrs. Hernandez were having marital problems and that the day before at work, Robert had told that he and Mrs. Hernandez could be happy if he had just gotten rid of Ginny. So that's where this becomes really upsetting. That's where emailing me, shaming the victim that survived this terrible ordeal becomes infuriating. That's all she wrote, guys. If someone with a wrench wants to drop the Discord, I will be making all of the documents public. I will not be making the witness statements public, but the summaries will be publicly available. I hope that's been enlightening. And I hope that people really think twice about jumping on things before researching them. The Frog has a premiere coming up tonight, which we'll go over a lot of this as well. And rest in peace, Genevieve Finn. That poor woman. Do you know the amount of force you have to stab someone with to bend the blade and break the handle off? And now, Tara, I want to pose this to you, and I hope this doesn't upset you, but I hope it makes you think. If you guys hadn't broken up and you stayed with him, that could have been your friend trying to help you escape an abusive man and getting murdered in her own house. That could have been you. So I think instead of degrading the situation and lying for that man and shaming the surviving victim, I think you need to do a lot of self-reflection, because it seems like you dodged a very fucking scary situation. With that being said, I think I'm about wrapped up here. I hope you all have a great night. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances. Stay smart and be good.
Hey Lisa, how do I pause it for a second? So I can bring up another video really quick where they talk about how she said she had breast cancer and made a GoFundMe for it. Stuff like that. So do you know how to pause? Or are you not here?
In this video, I'm going...
Oh.
My words are weapons. My words are weapons.
weapons. I never show no emotion. My words are weapons. I use them to kill whoever stepping to me. My words are like weaponry on a record. My words are weapons. I use them to crush my opponent. These words are weapons. Never to show no emotion. My words are weapons. I use them to kill whoever stepping to me. My words are like weaponry on a record. Yo.
Okay, rookie mistake number one. I didn't remove the banner right away. The intro today serves as a reminder that around here we use our words. We go by kindergarten rules. We do not use knives or bats or potato peelers or any of that. It's my first solo live, so I've brought Derpy Skylion Jesus with me just to give me the strength I need to get through. Hi everyone. It's been an adventure lately, hasn't it? So I thought I would start this off by talking about how I became involved in this mess. My first encounter with Fraudster Reaper was regarding these amazing t-shirts with top quality graphics. There was a claim made that she had lost almost $300 in t-shirt sales. It was blamed on 2 YouTube creators. When asked for evidence of this, shockingly became very defensive. So when I was dealing with all of that, the only customer I found that actually bought a shirt came to me and asked me if I could advocate for her because she had not received a shirt or a refund or a response. So of course I helped. So then I was like, you know what, there's probably something here. When people get really defensive, there's usually something to hide. So I clicked her PayPal link, her name right there, publicly available. And then I looked up her Facebook. Now, anyone who's ever known anyone who's gone to jail, or if you've been in prison yourself, those are prison lights and a rope lanyard. That's prison. Like, you can just tell by the picture. And she had his last name on her Facebook. And then I found my Lord and Savior, Derpy Skylion Jesus, because she was selling his paintings. And I was like, curious and curiouser. This man's in jail and you're selling 8x10s? So, yeah, I guess she did a live stream, auctioned off some prison art. When I started questioning things, she even gave him a platform and posted his jailhouse tablet message. So I have gotten a lot of crap for looking into this, and feel free to give me more, that's fine. But I think it's important and pertinent. So one of the claims that Fraudster Reaper has repeatedly made, she's joked about it, I did a little short about it the other day, was that she stole chicken from Walmart. I don't know about you, but I have never seen $157.51 chicken breast. I don't know if that's for a golden goose or what. Nor, if you look at the bottom, pushed a cart with merchandise. Does chicken take up the whole cart? Not sure about that. The disposition for her shoplifting case on October 8th, 2022, was she was found guilty on October 24th, 2022. She was sentenced to a fine of $25 and costs in the amount of $193, 90 days in jail with 75 suspended, and home incarceration for 15 days. Which isn't cool, right? She also has some SovSit style car charges, like I think it was no tags, no license, no insurance, no registration. I don't think it had an inspection. At the end of the live, I'm going to put up a Discord server that it has everything way more neatly compiled than my brain will put it out to you. So, yeah, upon looking into this, what struck me the most was her versions of events of the murder. I'm not sure if many people know this, but I used to be an investigative journalist for an organization called Live Boston. I specialized in looking into deaths and murders. So it just intrigued me. Several people that had contacted me about sending her money because of her sob stories and her husband's wrongful conviction were kind of bothered about it. They were like, I think you should look into this because I'm curious if she was just giving me a sob story for money. Plot twist, she totally was. So here is her version of the plethora of court documents that I'm going to read to you guys. This is regarding the capital murder conviction of her husband, who is serving life in prison, Robert Zamora Hernandez Jr. She said, I waited until our daughter contacted him in 2020, though I didn't find out until February of 2022. When he first called me on March 6, 2022, after 26 years of not talking, he told me everything. And I've since verified it with his family, and trust me, his family is an important part of this. When we broke up, it was because a girl, blank, convinced him our baby wasn't his. Keep in mind, I was 17, he was 19, young and stupid. He married her, got out of the Army 2 months before I gave birth and moved back to Texas. 6 months into their marriage, blank cheated on Robbie with his cousin. Robbie kicked her out of the house and said he was filing for divorce. Then that night he got plastered. He decided to confront his cousin and let his cousin's wife know about this. At 1 a.m., he started walking to his cousin's house. Blank had been sitting in her car outside Robbie's house and followed. When she realized where he was going, she decided to get revenge. Remember these words as I actually read through what happened to the poor woman that Robert Hernandez brutally murdered. I digress. As Robbie entered his cousin's side door, a large Mexican family, they all entered without knocking. Is that a racial thing? I thought that was like a comfort level thing. I don't know. Pop off, girl. Blank called his cousin and said someone was breaking in. Knowing he'd come out and fight the robber. All the lights out, Robbie was smashed over the head with a metal bat. He kept getting hit. Thinking he entered the wrong house, he went into self-defense mode. He grabbed whatever was in the sink, a potato peeler, and stabbed his attacker 3 times.